8:15. I'll call the meeting to order. And we have a short agenda. Holly told me that if we didn't have the sick item on the agenda, we probably wouldn't have had this meeting, but at any rate, I think we can handle these things. So the first thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. And before we get into that, I just want to comment, when they originally came out, I looked at them and I didn't think that the minutes as they were written reflected the discussion that we had on the Krause-Anderson project. So I asked Holly to amplify that, and you have in your package now, there's a revised section on the minutes which is amplified. I think it's worth commenting on that, and I was talking with Holly before the meeting that with this whole mixed-use development thing, I think we need to really have staff do some homework on it and come back to us with some more operational definitions about exactly what they contemplate for mixed use. I think that clearly it's something that, it has to be more than just 2 buildings or something like that. It's got to be a plan longer term. It should be something hopefully that's significant and things. And so hopefully at some point in time in the near future, we can have something like that we can discuss. And it's important for any developer coming in to have a more operational idea of what we want. And again, I think it's something that requires vision and other thoughts. So I don't know if everybody had a chance to look at the minutes, if you think that's adequate or you want to amplify it or some way, shape, or form. Otherwise, I would entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes as revised. Motion made by Commissioner Keller. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bussey. Any further additions or corrections? Not all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Organizational business. Introduction of a new employee. So we're going to have Kevin come up.
Absolutely. I'd like to welcome Kevin Canase to the podium.
And I think we also need to reintroduce our other gentleman sitting there, because we've only seen you a couple of times, so you can come up after him and just give your name and get
Okay.
Some of us are getting older and our memories aren't quite as good as they used to be.
Okay. Well, we'll do that. I just wanted to take a moment to introduce Kevin, who's joining us from Minneapolis and will be filling the role of Assistant Port Authority Administrator, focusing on development and redevelopment. He is filling Jason Schmidt's old role. We have this bio written, and then Kevin, you're welcome to say whatever you like after this. So Kevin was recently hired as Assistant Port Authority Administrator focused on real estate development. He started on August 28th. Kevin has a bachelor's degree in urban planning from the University of Minnesota and master's of business administration from Augsburg University. Kevin most recently was at the City of Minneapolis, CPED, where he was a supervisor of residential real estate development. Prior to Minneapolis, Kevin worked for Minnesota Housing, Dakota County CDA, and the City of Golden Valley. Kevin grew up in Bloomington, as we have heard, and is excited to be back working in and supporting the community where he was raised.
Yes, thank you, commissioners, for having me. I'm excited to be here, as Holly framed. So I spent 2/3 of my life in Bloomington, so my formative years. And I remember reading the South Loop District Plan when I was studying and being really excited about it. And now being able to be back and implement projects that are part of that plan is incredibly exciting to me. And I'm hoping to continue the great work that our staff have already done with developers here in the community. So thank you.
Great. Welcome. Okay, thank you. Now can we have our other
Reintroduction.
Good evening, President and Commissioners. Luke Sponable, I'm Economic Development Analyst. It's been here for 3 short months now.
Okay.
So.
Welcome again, Luke.
Before you tonight is a plan for 2 additional subcontractors in relation to the construction of the SIC parking ramp. SDDI Signs is providing signage, and RTL Construction is providing the services of installation, drywall, and finish work. We have worked with Ann Coates and reviewed each submittal for completeness and cost. And, we have worked with them and determined that at this time we are asking recommending that we enter into service agreements with these following subcontractors for $54,131.65 for SDDI signs and $72,798 for RTL construction. That is the first motion that you have here. Additionally, the second motion you can see there, should you be okay with the first motion, we are then asking subsequently for contingency. This is following the same form of contingency, the 10% that we had discussed at the past meeting prior. Once again, this contingency is pretty standard and is just covering any unforeseen conditions that the work might face. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Well, Luke, we're happy to see that you have this, when it comes to us, instead of coming back, again, it's a good idea to have that contingency there. So questions for Luke on this? Mayor?
Thank you. Just if I could, why is this a one-off? Why wasn't this with the package of other subcontractors? Did they realize, oh, we might need a sign, or?
Yeah, President and Commissioner Bussey, yes, we've been working through with Ancoats on the entire process. So Jason Schmidt had done a lot of the work on the front end to get the majority of these subcontractors ready. I think these were just scopes of work that had been saved a little bit towards the end to work through all the bidding process and everything. So they're just coming to us now. We have, in the meantime, although you haven't necessarily seen them, that did come up and they were listed in the contingency packet. We have added a few more that have been below the dollar amount that our administrator Holly can sign for. So although you haven't necessarily seen them, we have been working on some additional very small scopes of work. These just happen to be big enough that we need to do your approval here.
Got it. Thank you.
And so do you anticipate there's going to be some additional contracts then coming on the facility?
Generally, we are expecting that this would be the end of anything big. This is the big scopes of work. Certainly for anything very small, especially up towards the end, it is entirely possible that we would see some additional.
Okay, thank you. Questions?
That was my question. What else might be
Yeah.
pending out there that we don't know about, or anything material, but just some ancillary small ones that?
Generally small things. Yeah, I can certainly ask the Ancoats for any additional information on that, but yeah.
Great. I would entertain a motion then. We have two motions. I guess we need to take them separately. So I would entertain a motion for the first motion. Commissioner Peterson?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we authorize the President and Administrator to execute agreements between the Port Authority and the following subcontractors: SDDI Signs and RTL Construction, Inc., related to the construction of the parking ramp associated with Phase 2 of the SIC project in substantially the form of the attached service agreement template.
And do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Hunt. Any further discussion? Not all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 6-0. Then we have a second motion.
Mr. President, I also move that we authorize the President and Administrator to approve and execute contract amendments as an as-needed contingency up to 10% of the total project cost for the SIC parking ramp as set forth in the staff report.
And do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Hunt. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries 6-0. And I think that concludes our business. Unless we want to sing happy birthday again.